Hi everyone, I am Giuseppe Fratoni and I am very excited to be joined today by Jon Loomer for an interview about Facebook marketing. Jon is a world-class expert on social media and Facebook marketing with a strong focus on advanced Facebook marketing tools, Facebook ads and analytics. He's the founder of Jon Loomer Digital and his blog jonloomer.com ranked the #1 in the top 10 social media blogs by Social Media Examiner for 2014. Jon is also the host of a great podcast on iTunes called the Social Media Podcast and teaches 3 training courses about the Facebook Power Editor, one about Facebook metrics, and one about website custom audiences, which we'll be talking about during the interview. Jon, welcome to the show and thank you very much for being here.
Oh, thank you so much, Giuseppe. Really happy to be here.
Cool. I'd like to start with your background and your success story. Can you tell us a bit more about you and your work?
Sure. Yeah. It's kind of a long story. I mean, I consider myself something of an accidental marketer. It's not something I went out of my way to do. Um, my history with Facebook is that I worked for the National Basketball Association way back in the day. So this was back in 2007. We partnered with Facebook to build an app. So this is before you could build your own app. And I was also the first ever admin of an NBA Facebook group before you actually had pages. So that kind of makes me seem old, I think. But that's how long ago that. I mean, we're talking 7 years ago. Um, so I basically fell in love with the platform back then. I mean, it was soon after that it started to explode, and I was like, "Holy cow! All these people I never thought I'd see again and connect with again. I'm meeting them again on Facebook. It's great." So anyway, I became really comfortable with it. It ended up leading to other jobs. So after the MBA job, I worked for American Cancer Society, and I was VP of Strategic Marketing there. And I ended up getting laid off. And in fact, it was the second time I've been laid off in 3 years. I was also laid off from a startup company after working for 6 months. And so it was one of those life-changing moments in terms of, okay, what am I going to do? Am I going to work for somebody else again, or am I going to try to work for myself? I did not want to move. I've got 3 boys. I did not want to move my family. And so I started my site, and I didn't know what I was going to do with it. I did some consulting and whatnot, but I just kept writing. I didn't have anything else to do, so I just kept writing and kept writing, and now we're to the point where I made a lot of mistakes along the way, and I learned a lot of valuable lessons. And now that this site is doing great in terms of traffic, but also selling products and selling memberships and one-on-ones and all that kind of stuff. So it's been a really fun ride.
Okay, cool. Listen, let's just dive into our main topic for today. You probably get asked this question all the time, but does the number of Facebook fans really matter?
It does, but with a caveat, right? I mean, it's the quality absolutely matters. So the number of quality likes matters, yes.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna ask me, does it matter that this page has 100,000 likes? I'm gonna say I don't know, because I don't know who those people are. But if you're gonna tell me, does it matter that they've got 100,000 likes of people who have bought from them and they visit their website and they're interested in their content, their product? I'm gonna say absolutely. So and the reason for that is, it's really twofold. First of all, I mean, all this talk about organic reach, but you know what? Still, end of the day, if you've targeted appropriately, a large number of people will still see your stuff organically. So to say it doesn't matter, well, so you're saying that those people you do reach don't matter, and those are the people who care most about your content. And that's why they're seeing it in the first place. And I know I don't necessarily represent everybody, and I'm probably kind of the exception, but I'm still reaching 40% of my audience organically with a single post. But that's just part of it, though. It's not just who you reach organically with a single post. It's like how many people you're reaching total over a given day or a given week. And no one stresses out over how many people you're reaching on your Twitter account, but I know everyone obsesses over their Twitter follower numbers. That's why they do all this silly follow back stuff.
Mhm.
Um, so absolutely, number one, for organic, it does matter. But number two, every time I've got a product to sell, the people who are most likely to buy are my fans. And so, yes, absolutely. If they like your page, they're showing that they care. That's a way to bucket them, so that when you have something to sell, that's a key group of people I am going to target to sell that, or to get opt-ins to this webinar or whatever it is. It's people who like my page or people who visit my website, and they convert. Everyone else, if they don't visit my website, if they don't like my page, they're much less likely to actually convert. So it matters a whole lot.
Right. And is there a blueprint for building an audience on Facebook? And what are the key steps and what's the right order?
Yeah, so in my opinion, there's a priority order, and it kind of goes like this. It goes, all right, so who's on your email list? So you upload custom audience for that, and you target those people. Who has visited your website? And the number of people you target there kind of depends on how much website traffic you get. I find that, first of all, I think 30 days, the duration of 30 days is solid. So anything beyond that starts getting less relevant, and they may not remember who you are, when they saw you, whatever. If you get so much, like I've had ads where I say, you see this ad because you visited my website today, like my page to see how to do it. I mean, one day is really relevant, and you can do stuff really pretty incredible things with that. So, but anyway, I'm kind of slowing down this list here. So the first of the website, or excuse me, the email list. Second was website visitors. Third is really your lookalike audiences. So taking your email list, and really it's not just necessarily your email list. If you have a big enough paying customers list, those are the people who care most. To create a lookalike off of that can work really well. Creating a lookalike audience off of the people who visit your website, and creating a lookalike audience off of the people who do like your page, assuming you built it well, built it the right way so far. So then it's lookalikes. And then you can get into things like behaviors and interests and things like that. Keep in mind, though, I don't really like guessing with those types of things. So what I will do is, this is kind of part of my blueprint, I guess, is I will use audience insights to break down who my current customers are, who my current website visitors are, and who my current who my current fans are, to understand what they like. What are the other pages they like? Are they men or women? What ages are they? And there are a lot of other things you can do within the U.S. in terms of what they buy, how much money they make, and all that kind of stuff. So that's really the order that I go in terms of targeting to build my fans. But it starts with people who know you, who are already connected to you in some way, and that's the foundation.
Okay, cool. And I'd like to talk a little bit about Facebook ads. Can you share one Facebook ad tactic that works really well?
Yeah, I mean, it's using website custom audiences. So, an example would be, and there are lots of examples with website custom audiences, but like I already gave one where you visited my website today, like my page to learn how to do it, right? I mean, it grabs people's attention. But another would be just making sure you show them relevant information that they've shown interest in before. So when I have a blog post to promote, I'm going to want to show it to people who have visited my website before. But if you have a website that is structured in a way that's by category, you can say, okay, well, this blog post is about Facebook ads. I don't know, whatever. And we'll say you also write about Google Plus, and you write about Twitter and all these other things. You have a website custom audience for anyone who's read your posts in the past about Facebook ads. So then when you promote it, you can promote it just to those who have read posts about Facebook ads in the past. So you can do some really pretty powerful things to make sure you reach a very relevant audience with website custom audiences. I mean, I think that's the main tactic I'd recommend.
Okay, so your main strategy is to target people who already have been on your website and have already read your blog posts.
Well, because the goal is ultimately to get them to my website for multiple reasons. First of all, the minute they've been there, I can remarket to them. So it's there as someone who's a relevant person. So so that's the first thing. But I mean, those are people who are likely to buy. I don't own them on Facebook. So I want to make sure they get to my website, they eventually subscribe to my newsletter, or they've registered for a webinar, or they buy something. I need to get them on my list. So that's what makes that so powerful is I need to constantly send them there. And then once you get them to your website, based on the pages they visited, you can remarket to them in different ways.
Okay, cool. And I wanted to ask you something about the Facebook Power Editor. You've written a lot about it. You have a course where you teach to use it. Can you explain to my audience exactly what it is and what are the benefits of creating ads with the Power Editor?
Yeah, so Power Editor was released first as a bulk editing tool, as a Chrome plugin, and in the simplest terms, that's what it is. You access it through Chrome, and it is a Facebook product. It's completely free, but it's really for the more advanced advertiser who wants more control over their ads, who creates more than one ad at a time, and wants to save some time, wants to have more power over their targeting and these types of things. So, the vast majority of people boost posts or they use the main ads interface. And the main ads interface is fine, but if you're going to create a lot of ads, I mean, Power Editor is great, first of all, for bulk editing. So, like, let's say you've got 10 ads that are similar, but you want to make sure that like you no longer want to reach desktop newsfeed for whatever reason. So you can select all 10, edit one, removing desktop newsfeed, and it applies to all 10. Whereas within the main ads interface, you got to go ad by ad by ad by ad by ad, editing them all. And duplicating is much easier within Power Editor as well. But other little things that like may not seem like a big deal to the novice advertiser, like with conversion pixels. You can within the main ads interface, you can only optimize for and track a single conversion pixel. Within Power Editor, let's say you're actually driving somebody to a product landing page where they can buy multiple things. You can actually track the conversions of as many conversions as you want for as many products as you want. So that's another benefit. But ultimately, any of the latest and greatest targeting power typically goes through Power Editor first, and I really only use it to create ads.
So it's mainly a time-saving tool for doing things in bulk instead of going on every ad and maybe tweak it and changing something.
Well, and another example of that is creating saved audiences within Power Editor. So, for example, if there's like for me, I have a routine when I create ads. If I'm going to do a page like ad or whatever it is, there's these certain groups of people I'm always going to target. And as you know, like especially if it's interest based, you got to type in all 10 or 15 or whatever it is of those interests, the age, the countries they're in, all that kind of stuff. And even with lookalikes, you can only do lookalike audiences by country. So you have to type in each of the lookalike audiences, each of the countries, all the age groups, all that stuff. And unless you're looking at another ad and going back and forth, or you're just doing it from scratch every time, it takes a lot of work. But you can actually find an ad where it's like, that's a group of people I want to target regularly, and you can save that audience within Power Editor, and then just automatically pull it in every time. You create a new ad, you can select the save target group, and it pulls in that audience. It's pretty awesome.
Okay, is there any particular best practice that you use when you decide the budget of an ad campaign, or is it completely based on the individual needs of your clients?
Yeah, so the budget really depends mainly on the size of the audience, or really what you can do depends on the size of the audience. So what I worry about is people who try to throw a budget out there that's too high for the size of the audience. So kind of the way I look at it is the typical optimized CPM, and I know it's across the board, but kind of what I see for most of my campaigns on average is something in the neighborhood of $5 optimized CPM. So what that means is $5 per 1,000 impressions. So immediately what that tells me, and also understanding what optimized CPM is, and I use optimized CPM almost exclusively. Facebook's within the audience they're showing, and you can reach. Facebook's going to show it to people most likely to engage and perform that desired action. So it, thinking about that, you could have an audience of, let's say, 10,000 people, and they're probably going to focus on the top 1,000 people. So immediately you should be thinking 1,000 people equals $5. That's $5 optimized CPM. So you really shouldn't be spending more than $5 for a $5 per day for an audience of 10,000 people. And then so, if you're going to go up to 100,000, you're looking at $50 per day approximately. Because you're just not going to get many more impressions than that. Because not only is Facebook going to optimize showing it to only certain people, but only half of that audience is going to be online every day anyway. So that's really how I look at budgeting. I mean, beyond that, it really depends on your goal, what your objective is. So if you want to get page likes or website clicks, I mean, me personally, I don't spend a whole lot for those. But you also get them pretty inexpensively, and you can make an impact. Whereas if you're looking to make an impact selling a $100 product, having a $5 a day budget isn't going to do a whole lot for you. So in those cases, I mean, you got to understand. I mean, first of all, how much that product is worth to you, and how much you can spend to get those sales, and how many sales you need to get, and what your goals are there. So lots of things at play there.
And in terms of the business goals that you're after with the campaign, there is one that is particularly effective, like having more page likes, or getting people to subscribe to your list, to register for a webinar or something. Is there something that proves particularly effective?
For anything in particular, just any campaign, or for one particular objective?
Okay, cool.
I'm just asking a question. I mean, because it's like for right now, I'm doing multiple things. I'm running ads for page likes. I'm running ads to build my email list. I'm running ads to drive traffic for my latest blog post, or even older blog posts that are doing well. And I'm running ads to sell. So they all have a purpose.
Great. Let's talk a bit about Facebook metrics. What are the most important metrics to track?
Yeah. So first of all, it all depends on your objective, but I like to really simplify it in that I look at the amount I've spent. I do keep an eye on frequency. I look for the number of actions, that's part of your objective. So that could be page likes, it could be website clicks, not regular clicks, but website clicks. It could be conversion, and then the cost per that action. I know a lot of people are obsessed with things like click-through rate,
Yeah.
cost per click, which again isn't necessarily cost per website click, and even the CPM price. Those are all secondary, because at the end of the day, all that matters is how much did I spend, how many people provide that action I was looking for, and what is the cost per that action. Because for an example I like to use, like people who obsess over click-through rate, there are lots of factors that contribute to that. So if you show your ad mainly in the mobile news feed, you're usually going to get the highest click-through rate there. If the ad isn't is shown more within the sidebar, that's going to lower the click-through rate. But that doesn't mean the sidebar is necessarily ineffective because it's much, much cheaper to reach people in the sidebar. So the click-through rate isn't a big deal because it's cheaper to reach them. So that's why I don't like. I will still like if I'm trying to diagnose what's going on. For example, if I'm like, wow, this cost per conversion or page like whatever is really really high. Why is that? And I might dig deeper and say, oh, the optimized CPM is like twice as high as it normally is. That's why. But it's not the one of the main stats that I'm looking at. Ultimately, I just want to know what is my cost per the desired action.
Okay, great. And just one quick final tip, John. What's your best advice for a small business to get started with Facebook marketing and ads?
Really, I mean, it's all about targeting the right people with the right message at the right time, right? So, and to simplify it from the beginning, the people you should be targeting are those who are most closely connected to you, and focus on them first, just to get started. Um, I mean, again, I look at it as a Facebook sales funnel. So, if you do nothing else in the early going, build that audience of relevant people who know you, and you don't even have to target anyone else. Target those people to build that audience. Then when you have a new blog post and you promote that, share it to and promote it to those people again. Promote it to those people who are your fans and are your email list and who visit your website, and sell to those people too. Just keep it nice and simple in terms of your targeting.
Okay, John, the last question is where can people can discover more about you and your work?
Yeah, so yeah, go to jonloomer.com. I mean, that's the easiest place. Otherwise, facebook.com/Jon Loomer Digital, and even at Jon Loomer on Twitter.
Okay, thank you. And thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and your insights with my audience. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule today. Thank you very much, John.
You bet. Thanks so much for having me, Giuseppe.
Thank you.